So good evening, everyone, and thank you for being with us today. I'm Olivia Rios, Director of Programs and Operations at the Los Angeles Latino Chamber of Commerce. And I'm excited for our S.T.A.R program with Southern California Edison. Through their partnership, we're able to bring technical training to small businesses throughout LA County and throughout other communities. And it's really nice to see familiar faces and names with us today. So tonight we'll be starting part one of a three-part series. Our trainer for this evening is Marianne Ellis. She is CEO and co-founder of CEO Success Community. Marianne is using her proven experience as a current business coach at SCE S.T.A.R's program to help rising suppliers. Marianne is a renowned leader in advertising, marketing, business coaching, RFPs, and business development for over 25 years. She helps her clients grow their business, who range from large corporate companies to small businesses. Her unique approach is friendly and interactive. And so before we start tonight, I'd like to just share a few housekeeping tips to please mute yourself, ask question in the chat box. This will also be an interactive session, so we will be addressing some questions while Marianne is presenting as appropriate. And with that, I'd like to welcome Marianne.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for joining us. We're excited to have you as a trainer today and excited to have you here with us tonight. So can you share a little bit about yourself?
I think the most important thing that you should know is I have a track record for new business and growing businesses. So many of the companies I've worked with have closed over $120 million in less than 18 months. And I am sponsored right now by Capital One, Wells Fargo, Southern California Edison, Accenture, UPS. I mean, it has been incredible since I started this company 5 years ago. I just got back from the national trade show with 5,000 people in Atlanta, and it was all major corporations. So I'm at the tail end of COVID, thank goodness. But my voice is a little raspier than normal. So next time you meet me, it won't sound like this, but it's kind of fun. It's a different voice for me. What I really do is I create workshops so that you can take this back to your company tomorrow and help you grow. What your organization picked was leading through changing times. So I'm going to show you a little bit about what we're going to cover. And again, I want this to be very interactive. I know we haven't heard from Angelica, Phil, or Ali Alba. So we'll get some quick introductions because it's nice to know who everyone is in the room. So let me quickly show you where we're going to go. And I also want to make sure that you all have the workbook. So the fun part is this will be a journey that we can do together. And the work that you do tonight, if you choose to do the work in the workbook, you can take back to your other employees at the company. We're going to take a look at your vision headline because it's so important as a leader that you have a vision. We're going to take a quick look at your current destination. There are 5 key elements that will increase or decrease your sales, and we're going to visit those. We're going to take a look at who are your future customers, innovation, ideation, a big idea. You always have to do financial proof and test and prove. So again, I've worked with Edison, believe it or not, for over 20 years. I was their advertising agency for many years. And then when I transitioned into business coaching, they're like, we need you back. So I work with all of their rising suppliers. So is there anybody, I should do a quick show of hands. Is there anybody on this call that is an Edison supplier? Does anybody on this call do business with Southern California Edison? No one so far. You should. They're a really good company. But let me go back to this. So as a way of getting started, because if you know anything about a utility, they are all about safety first. So absolutely, we're going to talk about and have a safety moment. First of all, I want everyone to look to the right and to the left. Do you know where your exit routes are? Now, I know you normally just think about that on an airplane, but Southern California Edison wants to make sure tonight, while you're in this session, you know where your exit routes are should there be a fire or an earthquake. And number 2, do you have 911 on your phone in case of an emergency? Number 3, do you know where your emergency kit is? Mine is in the cabinet right above me. And last but not least, you should have a plan to connect with family and out-of-state member in case of an emergency. So we've now had our safety moment. We can move on. The question in front of us as business owners there really and truly is, how confident are you that your company will be the market leader 10 years or 7 years from now? And it was very exciting to listen to Arminda. And again, if I mispronounce your name, you'll correct me, but how much her cleaning company has grown during COVID. So what I would ask you to do in the chat is say, how confident are you that your company will be the market leader? And go ahead and put in the chat, absolutely, well on my way, working on it, scared and better figure this out fast, or hey, that's why I'm here. And I want to tell you right now, I would say if I was answering for my company, I would say working on it. So would love to see, beautiful, Mina says working on it. I mean, it is really important to work on your business, and that's what we're going to do here tonight. Since we're talking about the future and growing your business, I wanted to talk a little bit about me for 1 second. So you're saying, it's worth listening to her. So I've been an EVP, SVP, and COO with National Advertising Agency. I've worked with Universal, Avery Label, Southern California Edison, APS, Cigna, Safeway, Ralph's, and Diamond Walnuts. I've been both on the buy side. So I've procured clients for Porsche, 23andMe, Panda Express, Brown-Forman Liquor, and I've also sold, and I talked to you about some of my sales experience. In 2018, I began CEO Success Community as the source for women and diversity business owners like myself and yourself to help you seek corporate contracts. So I'm all about growing business. What I wanted to share with you is when you look at the future and growing your companies, there's really 3 secrets. And the successful business owner does all 3 of these things. They stay laser focused on their customer. They never stop testing. And they also know when they have a new idea, when it's worth just getting it out there. It's close enough will do. What I wanted to do was make sure that all of you have the workbook. So let me show you what the workbook looks like so that if you don't have it, I know Jules or Olivia will drop it in the chat. So let me pop up the workbook really quick so you could see what that looks like. So if you don't have it, this is the workbook that was sent out to you. So as we go through these different stops, you will have a chance to personalize it to your company. So we're going to stop first and create a vision headline. You can pick any publication you want, People Magazine, Fast Company, LA Times, and create a headline that you would be so proud to share with all of us and your family 10 years from now. And then secondly, we're going to have you rate your company. So it's important that you have this in front of you, and I'll do it with you on products and services, offers, competition, promotion, and we'll talk about that. The third stop is we're going to talk about who's your most valuable customer right now. Who are your customers getting that you're not? Who is nobody getting? And how will your customer change 10 years from now? So to grow your company, this is important that you understand that. Then we're going to talk about some ideas that I used when I was on the team to talk about the future of Lay's potato chips, and the team that talked about what was entertainment going to look like in the future for Universal. So I'm taking those same skills and I'm giving them to you tonight in a workbook that you can use to grow your company. And then we will all hopefully leave here tonight with one. Sometimes, actually, the group I worked with 2 days ago, one person left with 3 big ideas that they could use to create new revenue, get new customers. I mean, that's what this is all about. And then, yeah, we have to do icky math, but you don't have to do it tonight. It's late. You've had a long day. But anytime you think about a new idea, you do need to look at the total available market, the likelihood of conversion, and get your CPA to help you if you don't like numbers. And then we're going to talk about how you can research it. So that's where we're going, sort of like an airplane. If you got on the wrong flight and you think you're going to Fresno, but you were hoping to go to Canada, this is what we're going to do tonight. Does anybody have any questions before we start? Because this is your time, so I want it to be about you. Does anybody have any questions before we kick off? No questions? Okay. Let me go ahead. And then since we are kind of a smaller group, maybe we could get a couple of more intros. So Angelica, are you willing to introduce yourself?
Trying to print the deck, but we won't print the deck. I am Angelica Urquijo or Angelica Urquijo, depending on who I'm speaking with, and that kind of is a segue into what we do.
Okay.
So I'm the principal and founder of the Imagen Group. Sometimes people look at that and say Imogen Group, but that's kind of the play on words in our logo. It's about connecting and bridging two cultures. Our sweet spot is actually helping the corporate as well as government entities reach diverse audiences, with our specialty being the Hispanic market.
Terrific, terrific. Okay, so again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing correct, but is it Consuelo? If you could unmute, introduce us, tell us where you're calling in from and what your company
Yes,
does.
I'm located in Fresno, California, so I'm in the wrong.
Out of
place
Fresno, my best friend, Clovis
You're in the wrong
Unified
plane.
Kindergarten School teacher. Okay.
I own a restaurant,
Ah, beautiful.
and my background is in land development and construction, but right now I'm doing a restaurant.
What do you serve at your restaurant? I'm hungry.
We offer what I call real Mexican food,
Beautiful.
Mexican cuisine.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Phil Williams, can you tell us what you do? Going once. What about Orly? And if there's anyone else that would like to share, Richard, or we'll let you be quiet and listen. But if there's anyone else that would like to introduce themselves, I just want to welcome all of you.
I could.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Gonzalez. I have a furniture store and I do home staging, but I also do office furniture, and I'd love to sell to like corporations or anyone who needs office furniture. And so anything that has to do with furniture. I also sell restaurant furniture.
Ah, you need to talk to Consuelo. Okay, restaurant furniture.
So yeah, so that's me, and I'm in Uptown Whittier, and we do business everywhere else. And I did meet a really good contact on a Latino chamber event. So I'm excited about meeting more contacts.
Well, and I would encourage all of you to put in the chat your company name, your website, your contact information, because again, now that I've heard about a restaurant, furniture, I've heard about energy services and mobile MRI. As you start to get to know each other, you have a better chance to refer each other. Martha, do you want to introduce yourself? Maybe. Okay, if there's, I'll give it one more time. Anybody else would like to introduce themselves, they're more than welcome. Okay, going once, going twice. I will jump into what we're going to cover. All right, here we go. So our first stop, and if you have the workbook, definitely I'm turning to page, let's see, this is page 2. Okay, so this is about vision headline. So I want you all to take out your pens or pencils and think about, first of all, what publication would you love to see a headline in? And it's your vision should be a big, bold future customer promise. It should be something that customers have been asking you for, but this should be big and extraordinary. And it's so powerful that it would be news. Let me give you 3 business owners that did this exercise. I find many business owners that do this with me. They put it on their wall. They share it with their employees. So the first company says, I'm going to create the most cybersecure video platform, and I'm going to sell it to IBM for $1 billion in the next 5 to 10 years. I say, bravo. The second company says, I'm going to revolutionize the construction industry. And I know earlier we heard from Al with National Hispanic Construction. So this company wants to revolutionize the construction industry to save the planet with disruptive fire suppressant chemical. So they're on a mission to do that. And the third company said, you know what? Nobody really understands P&L as a CEO. So we're going to come up with the CEO Savior, a real-time financial whisperer app that goes public, valued at $800 million. So I would challenge all of you to think about, what headline could you write about your company? What is the biggest goal that would make you so excited that would be news? And then let's go ahead and share it. So I'm going to ask for any volunteers. Is there someone that has a vision of where they'd like to see their company and what that headline might look like? Oh, Laura's got a hand up already. And the nice thing is we're going to get to know more about Laura's company. Make sure your company's name is in the headline. And Laura, begin by telling us, where is this headline going to be?
Okay, so I had to, the way that my screen is, I had to find myself so I could unmute myself. I was like, wait. So I would love for this to be in the Hollywood Reporter for me. And I would love, and I'm still like riffing on, well, what is the headline? But ultimately for me, I would love it to say LMS Media Consultants and Laura Salinas partner with, and I'm trying to think of who my dream partner would be, but that would be the partnership. And at the end of the day, it would be promoting women of color, obviously Latinas. It's very important for me. I have a daughter. I want her to see herself portrayed, but all women, all women of color. That would be my dream, to partner with.
So I want you to think about, who is the biggest celebrity? Who is someone that you really admire, that you would love to be with them?
Well, Eva Longoria is
There
one.
you go. Beautiful. Eva Longoria was a spokeswoman for my husband's company. My husband was a corporate. She was amazing, gracious, professional. She helped them so much. So maybe you say that Eva Longoria selected your company because of your leadership, and together you created, and so Laura, work on that headline, and then maybe come back at the end and let us know where it lands. But you should be very proud, because hold on to something bigger than you, and then let it explode. Is there one other person that would like to take a shot at it? What do you think? Consuela, let's hear about your restaurant. What are you going to do? Unmute. It's hard. I'm writing, I'm unmuting, I'm doing all these things. Okay.
Well, I'm technologically challenged anyway.
You're doing great.
But the restaurant has been sort of a sidetrack. The original intent of this venture was to develop the products that we have, food products that we have, and eventually put them in the market. Years back, I thought, well, if I can place a couple of products at Costco, but investigating a little bit regarding how to do business with Costco has kind of deterred me to another venue. So if I could find a place where we can massively place our products, I would love, like Laura says, have a Hispanic woman that has gone through the ranks and support what we do, because my restaurant started in Los Angeles. That's how I got in touch with the
Consuela, what's the name of the product that you want? What's the name of your product or restaurant?
Well, we have an excellent mole.
Mole,
sauce,
beautiful.
mole sauce, and a couple of salsas that are excellent. So if I can do 2 products, that will be my goal for to.
How about if we say La Victoria Salsa decides to buy your company for $500 million? So they can have your amazing secret recipes. Or Kroger decides to private label your recipes because they're so authentic and fabulous, and they're going to give you $2 million. What do you think?
Well, hopefully we can get more, but
okay. Would you like $5 million?
Yes,
But you write your own headline. What do you want?
I would like to have, I don't know, some conglomerate that purchase our product for X number of millions, and then
so Consuelo,
right to the sunset.
Because you know the old saying, if you write it, it will happen.
Yes.
So Claudia, I don't know if you can unmute, but Claudia's got her Time magazine in there. So Claudia, can you share your headline with us? Or she might be in a class, so I'll read it. Time magazine, Highlands Energy Service changes the way we look at energy and save customers thousands of dollars, creating healthy homes while generating jobs in underserved communities. Oh my gosh, that is fabulous. So everyone, take a shot, take 1 more minute. Is there anyone else that wants to share?
I think that might be my daughter.
Is that your daughter?
It might be my daughter. That's what we do on the, with my other business.
There you go. Your daughter's rocking it. She's making it happen. So this is, if you, as a business owner, we must provide the vision. We must provide the faith to our employees, our vendors, our suppliers. If they don't believe that you have a big enough vision to drive your company forward, why do they want to hook on with you? Ah, Claudia said, that's my mom. That's fantastic. All right. Anybody else want to share before we go to the next stop?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
I think for me, I would like to be on this magazine called Furniture Today.
Furniture Today. Okay.
And I guess, I don't know, I never really dreamed big. So
Go for it.
this is kind of a hard one, but it would say something like Latina business owner, made her own brand of affordable, stylish furniture. And then maybe open it up. I mean, if I'm thinking huge time, I'm thinking like a line that I sell other store owners, kind of like Avon, so people could sell my stuff.
Well, you know, another idea too, besides selling it to other store owners. So what is the biggest furniture chain right now that's in business?
Furniture chain, Living Spaces. So
Okay, so
I actually can.
So let's say Living Spaces decides to take advantage of the expertise of Latina business owner and features her line throughout the country, and you get a huge check for it, you know, or it could be, I think you said you did staging, maybe Coldwell Banker, not nationally, globally, decides to restage all of their homes with your line of furniture. So if you think big, it could happen. It really, really can, but you have to put it out there.
Yeah, I'm trying to get this company for my office furniture called Han. So I like that you said right now, if you don't have a vision for your business, how is someone else going to buy into it? And I think that was missing information that I needed. It was like, not selling them why they should work with me.
Absolutely. And I see many people that do this. You can go on Canva if you're familiar with free Canva, and you can make the cover. So as an example, Laura could go get the Hollywood Reporter. She could put her face on it. She could put her headline on it, or you can get Furniture Today, and you would literally share that with your suppliers, your employees. Ralph, what's a big vision for your company?
Well, it would read like the science behind Ovation Scientific, saving California's waters by Time Magazine.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, that is a big, bold goal, saving California, saving our water. I mean, think about what we've been through as a state. That's fantastic. So again, I would say go create this headline, and you will be surprised how things start to fall in line. I think this group is getting it, and I will move on to the next stop, but well done. And if you didn't share this time, feel free to put it in the chat. And I know a couple of you are quiet, so I might call on you on the next one. So we talked about in the future and this big bold headline. Now I got to make you come back to today, Wednesday, June 15th. And we need to take a look at our current business, and we need to be honest with ourselves. So I want you to rate the current state of your business. So everyone turn to page 3 on the workbook, and we're going to take a look at how we can be best in class with the most important factors that will grow our company and get us more sales. So let me give you an example of another business owner who had an accounting and tax firm and was very honest. And as I go through these factors, please be honest with your business. I'm asking you to rate every single one of these items 1 through 5. 5, perfecto. You don't need to change anything. 1, it's a hot mess. Okay. So this business owner said, my products and services are a 4, but I need to increase the speed of delivery. I'm not fast enough. The second thing they looked at was price value. They were under a lot of criticism. Customers, potential customers were complaining that they were too high priced. So they realized they needed to add more value to their offering to justify their premium and price. Against competition, pretty darn good. They gave themselves a 4, but they needed to communicate their differentiation. Now, They gave themselves a 2. Promotion and marketing. Website was outdated. They hadn't done any webinars, no free downloadable content, no ebooks. And here they're an accounting and tax firm. They could be so helpful to the business owners. And last but not least, their marketplace reputation. They said 3, an average. And they had some wonderful customer testimonials, but they weren't sharing them with anyone. So now the question is, where are you at right now with your company? And feel free to put in the chat or share with us a factor that you are either really proud about, but I would like to know one thing you can do to improve. So if you take a look at the sales funnel factor, I'm going to start calling on some people. So is it Angelica? Are you willing to share with us one sales funnel factor?
Actually, Angelica or Angelica.
Angelica.
So either one of them. So you can stick with Angelica. It's easier for you. I pretty much use that most often.
Okay,
So
whatever
I'd
you
say-
want me to call you, I'll
I'd
call
say
you.
products and services, probably 4, because of the diverse services that we could offer to help them engage their audiences.
Mhm.
Pricing is probably the area that I need the most help because especially if I'm trying to enter and enhance what we do with the government sector, it's very different pricing than obviously corporate.
Okay, okay. And what one action can you do to improve your pricing with that sector?
So with that is doing more of the research in terms of past
Beautiful.
contracts. It's finding that information, right? Because
Beautiful.
individuals within that space, I think, I wish people would not be so either embarrassed of what they're charging or so competitive. I think it's the latter, right? There's enough for everybody. Why are we holding it so close to our vest? But oftentimes people don't want to talk about that.
I find in general, this there's a big concern about talking about pricing. I know one person who is such a bold marketer. They said, if you're not willing to put your price on your website, you're probably not going to get the customer anyway. So be upfront. What are you charging? Why are you charging what you're charging? I wouldn't be shy. So I do agree with you. I wish people would be more honest.
So that's something that I've mentioned in terms of like professional organizations to see what people, and it's just like right away they shut it down. They don't want to bring it up, but it's important because you need to know what the norm is now. I probably could do a better job on the promotion. I mean, my background is video. I was a news anchor. That's where my strength is. So I need to do more of utilize that video. Like you said, I'm in full agreement with people buy from people, not a company.
Yes.
So that's what I need to do more of, and I know where my weak spot is. So that would be a 3.
Okay.
Reputation, I'd say 4.
Mhm.
And that comes down with being an advocate of the personal brand.
Perfect. Perfect.
So that's pretty much it.
Okay, well, it sounds like you've got some high scores in a couple of areas to work on. All right. What about you, Mina? What do you think? Have you taken a look at where you're at? What do you think? Oh, go ahead and unmute.
Sorry about that.
Oh,
Okay.
it's okay.
Yeah. Well, I find myself always in situations where you try to get to complete what you already have going on before accepting something else. And I don't know, I think Angelica said something very important there, that she gives herself a 4 for the advocacy and so forth, because trying to be up there, not at the competitive level, because my profession is not in that realm. I'm providing a bilingual service, and the bilingual service is between Spanish and English. So I find myself constantly getting the request for Spanish because of our Hispanic community, specifically the you refer to the groups that are underserved communities. I don't like saying that word. It's just really hard for me to say it like that. And in Spanish, it could be very insulting. So you have to be careful with the words that you use. And so having communication behind me as well, administration is my strength. I try to do my best in trying to communicate year after year, what can I do better and add to my current content. So with that comes delivery. So you work at it. And before you know it, you have 2 or 3 things lined up before you can even finish that. And then the event hits you. It's like, oh my goodness. So I do it from just word of mouth, just from what I know, just from my experience. So I speak from experience, not from the Google nor books.
Oh, got it. So when you look at growing your company and you look at these different factors that are right here in front of us, which area do you feel you are the strongest of these 5?
On the services,
Okay, on the services. And what is one area that you would like to improve on of these other 4?
definitely on the pricing. I have to
On
be
the
with
pricing.
Angelica as
We
well.
got 2 of you now that need to have
Yes.
a little chat about pricing. What is it that you seem, what one action could you take to improve your pricing?
Wow. Well, I've taken a couple of retainers with corporations, and I've tried to go with what they offer. And I realize, I'm really lowballing what I'm doing. So I find myself, whoa, really? And then so I kind of incorporate that and said, okay, this is where I really am. Somebody believes in my value. Because there's so many that are just chopping it down and say, oh, we can't do that. Going, okay. And then, and it's kind of interesting because there's a comparison that I could do with business. You go out to a movie, you go to dine and what have you, you're already at $200 with 3 people.
Right,
Easy,
right.
easy. So when you come to a training and you want to think this is value added, what can you get from there? Okay,
Right.
that's when I'm talking about the underrepresented. It's very difficult, to get them to attend the courses and what have you. So my pricing values depending on corporate or more, are we talking, and I'll be honest, more of the indigenous, community. That's who I trigger, and that's who gravitates to me.
Well, I would always say as a business owner, you have to look at your time, your materials, and then you have to look at what the market will bear. And you have to look at the company that you're working for. And you also have to say to yourself, is my time being rewarded? And sometimes I always say when I talk to business owners, do you have a product problem or a business model problem? So you have to really take a hard look at your time is valuable, Nina. And are you being rewarded for your time, your years of experience, your training? I mean, these are really important things. And pricing is a very personal, sensitive topic. But I also am finding more and more, if you get into these groups and especially in with your with like-minded business owners, people will start to be honest. And I started to hear people say, well, I charge $70 an hour. Oh, I charge $125 an hour. I charge 50. I charge 250. You start to hear such a range. And then you have to say to yourself, why? Why is that happening? Why can this person command this amount and this person feels like they have to command lesser? So these are really, really important topics that, again, I wish we had a little more time, but pricing is very important. It's part of the lifeblood of our company. And, it is a really critical factor. Before we leave the sales funnel factors, is there anyone else that would like to share a little bit about sales funnel factors? Arminda, do you want to share a little bit about from cleaning? What areas are your strength and what areas are weakness?
Okay, my strength, I will say product and service,
Ah,
because I do multiple service tests. So that would be one. The reputation, that would be another one, because I'm very perfectionist, which it could be either good or bad, and I'm very perfectionist, very detail oriented. I go an extra mile for what, regardless of what I'm doing. And that's why it was like Mina, it was talking about, so sometimes we underestimate or undervalue ourselves. And when you present yourself that way, that's, if you don't believe in yourself, definitely nobody else is going to do it, right? So we underestimate our value, how much our hours really cost, so that's one thing that my reputation is. When they send me, just recently, I'm going to share this one with you. Recently, they was trying to get my contract. They was giving it to a quote unquote competitors. But so they was going because of my price went up. So they went with the competitors. But at the same time, I realized they're not my competitors. Because if they're not doing the same thing or the same level that I am, so definitely not my competitors, right? So they went back to Arminda. Why? Because yes, I'm going high. Now I'm learning that, right? So I gotta get paid for what my value is. So, but I have to believe in myself first.
yes. And
right?
especially if you deliver high quality, You have to be mindful of your cost of goods.
Exactly.
Cost
I
for your
just,
materials, yeah. Mhm.
yeah, I just fired, I mean, I'm gonna say that, just fired a customer. I'm a small business owner. I've been in business for 7 years. Never been in cleaning. This is, I just started 7 years doing this, but no, my background is, I worked for 23 years in the government, and I have, yes, and my background is, I have a master in human resource management. So going from one place to cleaning, you know, everybody got like, how come she worked in the government? Now she's cleaning toilets, and, you know, and she has a master in human resource. It doesn't matter. That's one of the things that we all talking in here, you know, that I get emotional and at the same time eager to learn more from everybody, especially for this. It's like no competitor. So that's why I'm giving myself the reputation of 4 or plus, because there's no way a competitor will be someone who is at the same level that you are, providing the same service and the same price.
Okay.
You know, so so I will give those 2 for a promotion, word of mouth, but it's not enough. So I
Yeah,
will give
and
myself
I
2.
tell you something, this is a really hard thing to believe. And I'm so proud of, you know, you can have the business skills and run any business. I mean,
Yeah.
because it sounds like you have great business skills, but it's really important if you don't promote your company,
Yeah.
and no one will know about you, and word of mouth will only get you so far. So
Exactly.
it's really important that you learn about social media. It's really important that you create a database of potential customers. It's really important that you say to everyone, this is what I do. If you know anybody, this is my geography. This is the kind of buildings I clean. This is what I do. That way, I watched a wonderful woman, Anita Rom. She went from working for someone who was terrible to running her own cleaning business, Bright Cleaning. And she has done really, really well. But she was just like you. She was willing to speak up, and it makes a huge difference.
And
So-
that's what I'm doing. That's what I say, no, I need to join this community, you know, to learn more about it. And the thing is, I'm sorry that I'm going to take a little bit longer, but my dream is, because I'm doing this in memory of my mother,
Mm.
you know, so she raised me and gave me the education that I have, because she cleaned so many toilets and she cleaned so many bathtubs. So to me, I gotta be strong and successful. I want to see this company grown, just not for her, but at the same time for myself.
You
I
know-
deserve to get that, and especially constantly, she didn't have the tools that I have,
Mhm.
and she never give up.
Well, you know something? She seems like she should be part of the visual representation of your company, because it sounds like she's a big part of your company. I lost my
Oh.
mom in October, and I know that hurts and it's hard, but it
Yes.
also pushes you forward. So
Yes.
you'll be successful partially because of her. So
Yes,
thank you
definitely.
for sharing
Thank
that
you.
with us.
Thank you.
I haven't called on Phil Williams. Phil, are you willing to share with us about your company and share with us what you do and where you're calling in from? See if Phil is willing to engage. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, we'll let him go. All right, so let's move on.
Can you hear me now, Phil?
Oh, yeah, Phil, awesome. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm multitasking.
As we
my
all.
company, my company, I have you guys on my cell phone, and then I'm working on the computer at the same time.
Oh, my goodness.
But what I specialize is I'm a Microsoft cloud solution provider.
Mm.
And one of the issues that we're finding is a lot of small minority businesses is reluctant to move to the cloud. And
Ah,
so that's what I do. I do technology consulting. And I think there's like 60,000 Microsoft partners, and only, I believe, 600 are African American.
wow. So you are really leading the way. I will tell you that it took me a while to make the jump to the cloud. And the main reason I did it, Phil, if this helps as a business owner, I was in a different location, not by my home office, and I was frantic for some information. And if you're frantic for information and it's not on the cloud, good luck with that. So, I don't know if that's a way to give someone the last push they need, but it is so important. And
Well, the audience we have right now, and I think that's one of the things, is that if we take a survey, what technology are they using to operate their business? Because that's what, if you're spending more time trying to keep records and keep it, that's where the challenge is. And so we're trying to help them understand you have to move to the cloud. You have to have some type of technology savvy, your accounting system, your record keeping system. And so I think that's one of the things that we're doing now. We're doing workshops on working with Microsoft for people can understand you gotta actually use virtual technology to, just like we're using Zoom.
So Phil, if you have any upcoming workshops, if you could please share it with the community, we'd really appreciate that in the chat, because it seems as though the more we know, the better we can run our businesses. I know it took me a while to get off the Excel spread. I had to suddenly go to QuickBooks. I'm sure that's on the cloud. You know, it's really important to engage and automate our businesses, and that's really, really hard to do. But I think it's important. But thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that.
Well,
All right. Raise show of hands. How many people are on the cloud? See, I see 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so Phil, we might be doing a little better than you thought. About half of us are on the cloud and half of us are not. Okay, perfect. All right. Let me tell you where we're going to go next. So here we go. The next stop is what sales funnel factor needs the most improvement? And I would love for you to put in the chat, which one do you feel needs the most improvement? I know for me, it's promotion and marketing. But for you, if you could put in the chat, is it products and services, price value versus competition, promotion and marketing, or reputation? So I did hear a lot of you talk about price. So promotion and marketing. So Adam, are you able to share with us at all? Or is Adam's not? Adam, are you able to tell us who you are and what you do?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Excellent. Thank you, Adam.
Okay, good. I switched to my laptop. Sorry about that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm a mobile provider for diagnostic services. We specialize in mobile MRI services. Pretty
Perfect.
sure everybody will eventually need one.
Mm,
For the most part, we go out to underserved areas like Bakersfield, Victorville, certain parts of LA, things like that. And what we do is we provide these diagnostic services for patients that can't afford it. And so we provide very inexpensive services as compared to the hospitals or full-blown diagnostic services. We pretty much go play it by ear. If you can't afford to pay it, we'll just give it away.
oh,
In
wonderful.
return, we have personal injury cases that sometimes pay as well. Obviously, we have to wait 2 or 3 years to get paid, but that makes up the difference for the people that can't pay for it. So for me, it's kind of a double-edged thing. I kind of fell into this business. I've been at it for 30 years or so. But for the most part, it's actually kind of nice to help people at the same time make some money.
So to grow your business, Adam, what sales funnel factor do you feel you need to work on just a little bit?
Promotion and marketing, only because we're small outfits and basically it's me, myself, and I most of the time. And obviously my small team. But everybody's busy doing their task, and I obviously don't have a marketing person or somebody that goes out and knocks on the doors or talks to people like that. It's basically more of a, well, so far what I've done is just basically the business comes to me. I really don't go out there and look for it. And I talk to clients and ask them where's the best area for you to be if you want me to be at a certain area. And so I go out and look for these areas. But it's basically word of mouth. I really don't have any promotions. I wish I could just see it on the freeway, you know.
So
MRI for $300, everybody come once and come all, something like that, you know.
well, one thing I want to tell you is it's very important to show up at these meetings and put your information in the chat, put your website, put your contact information, because this is a way of getting the word out. I didn't even know these mobile MRIs were out there. I also think that a lot of people don't realize how important it is to capture the names and addresses of potential customers. So if you hear someone that said, hey, I can partner with you or I can accelerate, everyone seems to be very busy posting social media, but really the tried and true is to database contacts and then send out emails. Email marketing still is one of the hardest working marketing and communication tools out there, and networking like you are right now. Let me move to the next stop in the roadmap that I think is important to visit, which is what customer would you like to win tomorrow? So who is a future customer that you would like to get? First of all, I would ask you, if you turn to page 4, if you could write down who is your most valuable customer now? Is it government? Is it corporation? You know, is it the HR director? Is it the IT director? And then what customers are you not winning, but competition has? Who is eating at another restaurant, Consuelo, when they should be eating at yours? And then who are you surprised that are not buying you or competition? And then you have to say, how is the customer going to change in the future? And how can I anticipate that? Again, let's go back to construction firm. So this will make Al very happy. So a construction firm answered the questions this way. They said, my most valuable customer right now is a utility client. I'm not winning cities and municipalities, and I would like to be. I'm surprised that nobody is working with a water company right now. And my customer 10 years from now, this is how they will change. Baby boomers are retiring and they're losing the senior employee legacy information in the utility world. More automation is happening. So we all have to think about automation, and there are tighter environmental controls. So certainly Ralph can talk to us about environmental controls because he's involved with oil spills and water. So this business owner said, you know what? Shazah Eureka. I have never thought about targeting fire safety directors before. That's a new group I could go after, or environmental leadership, which would get me higher up in the company. So the question is, as you think about your company, who is your most valuable customer? Who's competition giving? Who's nobody getting? And how are they going to change in 10 years? So it would be very interesting to kind of go around. Ralph, quickly tell us, who is your most valuable customer, and tell us a little bit about your thought process about future customers.
Well, right now, cities are my most valuable customer, but
Okay.
government would be the how can I say, the golden goose,
Okay.
or the golden egg. So what we're trying to do is accomplish there, like fish and wildlife, for instance, there's a lot of contaminated rivers out there. And we've been in contact with Fish and Wildlife. We're actually permitted by them. But our biggest challenge right now is getting people to change. They know the chemicals, they know the solutions they're using right now are really bad for the environment. And our product has been proven over and over again worldwide. I mean, I spent a whole month in India helping cleaning up the Ganga River.
Wow.
And we did an amazing job, and no other competitor can do what we did. We bring that technology to the States, and everyone's just afraid of change. They're afraid of bringing something new in when they're using products that are really bad. I mean,
I'm going to take a page from Laura a minute ago, who talked about Eva Longoria. You know, are you familiar with the there's an environmental group in, where are you located, Ralph?
In LA.
LA, okay, perfect. So there is the environmental media group, and they bring in Leo DiCaprio, and they bring in all these celebrities that are very involved with water. I think George Clooney was also involved with water. So you might want to look at the Environmental Media Association. Debbie Levin is the president, and you may want to do a reach out to them and say, I've got this great product. It helps the environment. It helps water. And maybe, again, you know, reach a little higher like Laura and see if that maybe can get you where you need to go, especially if you're saying that everyone is kind of afraid of change and we're having a real inertia problem. So that would be one way of looking at it. I see a new name down there, Irene. Irene, do you want to introduce yourself and let us know what your company is?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm actually in between getting to my car and my office.
Oh.
So Irene Woodall, I'm actually an executive director of a nonprofit organization. So we don't necessarily have a product to sell or anything like that, but we have consumers who utilize our services as well as the cities that we work with. So just happy to be here and listen to all of the insight being provided. Because at the end of the day, nonprofits are businesses.
So Irene, who is your most valuable customer right now for your nonprofit?
Oh, I would say the city, well, consumer would be our participants that are actually experiencing homelessness, because that's what I do. But I think for us, the people that we're focusing on right now is all of our local cities, our city leaders, in terms of getting them on board with the work that we're doing.
A lot of you are talking about city, county, government. I mean, can you at all help Angelica what the pricing is like? There's a lot of overlap here. So maybe there's an opportunity for some collaboration together. I'm going to try one more. Phil, who is your most valuable customer right now? Can you describe, as you're trying to migrate us to the cloud, who's your most important customer?
Well, right now it's the government, different departments, because they have the money.
Okay.
And they're the ones that's actually required to start to move to the cloud because of the pandemic. It really did. Okay. So that's
I woke
basically it right
everybody
now.
up. And does anybody have an idea of how their customer might change in the future? So are you looking in the future, how your customer might change, Phil? Any thoughts there? What might you see in the future?
Well, I just see the demand is increasing, and I think they want more technology change managers. That what they call digital transformation.
Yes.
That's really taking off, and I think that's one of the things that we're getting into is change management for technology.
I like change management for technology. I like that. Okay, we are going to stop right now. Laura, can you unmute your line? Can you please read what you just put in the chat? This is a girl that doesn't give up. Okay, Laura, read your headline.
Okay, The Hollywood Reporter, Eva Longoria, and Unbelievable taps Laura Marie Salinas and LMS Media Consultants to partner on a 5-year deal covering diverse projects for Latinas and women of color.
See, she does not give up. This is a woman business owner that's going to make it happen for her company and for her employees. The next stop on our journey is to take a look at an innovation idea. So what we're asking you to do now is go to page 5, and you guys have all been such good sports because this is late and it's after work, but I'm asking you again to open up your mind to some new ideas, some new revenue, a new division, maybe something you want to acquire or buy. So think about, what are the top 5 customer needs of your company right now? And think about who is in your competitive set, who is delivering and who is not. And then take a look at global category and cultural trends. Think about impossible things that customers have asked for and the loudest complaints. And this, my friends, is where we found some future of what to do with the world with potato chips. Here's an example of a conference and event firm. Boy, if you want to have some sympathy, these poor people that put on conference and events, they were going back live. They are going back to virtual. They've been up and down and sideways. But this is how this business owner answered this question. So they said, the top 5 needs that my customers have. Number 1, they want to transfer to virtual with no risk of bad connection. Good luck with that. They want it to be entertaining. They want to avoid online fatigue. They want to rebuild community because everybody's community has been isolated. And they want it to be cost effective, not asking for too many things there. And then this poor business owner said, I took a look at all the conference and event companies. Nobody is the powerhouse yet. One company, who we won't mention, has the most stable platform. Another company has the best community platform. Then when they looked out and said global, category, cultural, they saw that COVID-19, obviously, we feel more distant and there's kind of a post effect. People are a little bit afraid to be around other people. Are you vaccinated? Are you healthy? And it's much more cost effective to be online. So will they get together again? The customers were demanding for help with online success. They didn't want to have any frozen or holdovers. They wanted to know all about all the software options, and they wanted hybrid events. Their biggest complaint, the customer said, how could this cost so much money to do a virtual event? And they were frustrated that there were no guaranteed solutions. Everything seemed unproven and risky. So this smart business owner, this diverse business owner said, I'm going to create 2 things. 1, a triple protected, solid, stable virtual platform. And number 2, an exciting engagement series event. And they launched it in the marketplace, and they are doing really well. So that was their idea. The question is, what do you wish, what big idea do you wish you could give your customers tomorrow? Mina, any idea of a big idea that you wish you could give your customer tomorrow?
Well, I wish I could have the opportunity to have a bilingual platform with multiple, not just the 10s and 20s I have now, but make it to an extended, like a classroom or something, to make them know that it's available. Because the more you know, the more the family's going to get intrigued to be able to flow it down and just say, oh, I didn't know. Oh, is this how you're doing this? And so again, there goes in a whole different techniques.
Perfect. What about you, Consuelo? What is something you wish you could give your customers?
Right now we are hurrying for space, so a bigger space where we can entertain bigger parties for our establishment.
Because people want to come back and they want to have parties. I mean,
Yes.
a big part of this, so now I'm going to really push all of you, is bringing this in on the home stretch. To have the big idea, it needs to be a problem that is currently not being solved for your customers. It's better than competition, and no one would believe possible. So once again, if you revisit your innovation ideas, you could possibly land on that big one idea. So what I ask you is, what is the number one unsolved customer problem? So for this accounting and tax firm, it was not understanding financial statements as a business owner. And their offer was an automated dynamic financial view. So what I would love to do is have everyone go to page 6 in the workbook and answer the question, what is the number one unsolved customer problem? And what could be something new, something irresistible that you could offer them tomorrow? And I would love for everyone to come up with one idea. So I'm going to go to Cynthia. Cynthia, what is the number one unsolved customer problem? And what is something you could offer them?
So one of the problems in my business is stock, getting things in stock.
Okay.
And it's an overall problem that everyone's having, and I feel like I can't really resolve it. Here's why: because the big companies get the best customer service. So as a small business owner, I don't always get the best customer service, but that means that I might just have to show them what's in stock. So the way I could resolve it is by just saying, hey, listen, when you come to me, I'm going to tell you up front, and I'm going to be clear with you what's in stock and what's not in stock. I'm not going to give you the runaround.
So you're going to be the honest stock person. I have it, I don't have it, and this is what we can really do for you. So that's, if you're telling me
Really?
that, go ahead.
That's actually really hard to have right now, because I just found out a client ordered some really nice patio furniture for me. Guess what? It's going to take until August, and it was supposed to be July. So now that makes me a liar. And it's a problem that it's a huge problem, but I don't know how I could resolve it. The only resolving it is by keeping in communication with them, a follow-up.
Let me ask you this, Cynthia. Are there any other suppliers that you could reach out to that could solve this problem for you?
I tried doing that this week.
I mean, I know that's hard. I know that's really hard. And
client ordered what they ordered, so another client isn't going to knock it off.
Wow. Because it's so everyone is having such a challenge right now with the supply chain. Is there I mean, are they willing to wait? So what was the customer's reaction when you told them what the timing was going to be?
Lucky for me, this client loves me. She's been working for a long time. So she trusts me that I'm telling the truth. But there was a moment where I'm like, she's going to cancel it. And I already paid this up front. So I was like, but so she understood because she likes me. But what about if the people don't, necessarily have that bond with me? They're not going to wait for me.
Yeah, I mean, this to me sounds like a huge problem that has to be solved. And it has to be solved, I think, by finding other suppliers, because if this is something that is constantly letting you down and letting your customers down, sometimes their patience wears thin. Adam, what is the number one unsolved customer problem, and what could you offer them?
Currently, right now, it's basically instant communication with my patients. I would just love to have them be in the know, because everybody wants everything now sort of crowd. And so I've kind of been working on that, towards that goal. through more automation and things of that sort. But that would be my ultimate goal. It would be to instant communicate with the patient so that they get the results as fast as possible. Because when people get diagnosed with cancer or something like that, you know, they don't want to wait a week or 4 days, 5 days to find out, because it creates a lot of anxiety, a lot of pressure at home with patients wondering what's going to happen to me. So if I had that choice, it would be instant gratification or instant results right away.
I love
So
that. I
their
love that.
curiosity would be killed, and you know, they won't have to be worried or not sleeping overnight.
Believe me, I think all of us have had a loved one go through this, and we would like instant communication. Linda Martinez, can you share with us your number one unsolved customer problem? Linda going once. If not Linda, what about Claudia? And Phil. What about Phil? Can Phil share?
Yeah, my number one problem with clients, they don't have the budget. They don't have the money.
Okay.
And so what I did now is I started my own nonprofit where I can get grants from the technology organizations to actually provide services to some of those clients for free, because I'm already getting funded from the tech companies.
So you found the workaround for you. Yeah. Angelica, what is the number one unsolved customer problem that you're facing?
I'd love to be able to clone me and have mini-me's that we could provide to our clients, so they could have that added member of a team that they can't add to their budget, but they need that work done. So if I could find bodies that I could add to my team, that would solve that. But I think that that would be something that they could find value in. When I worked in a corporate setting, I would often bring people to augment my team when I couldn't add another employee, but they would be a way to augment the team.
Have you looked at all at bringing in interns and training them? I mean, I realize they're not at your level, but they could certainly learn from you and grow from you. Have you ever thought about doing that to bring in more depth into your team?
I have, but I'm looking for somebody beyond, say, a recent grad rather than an intern, but we will have to look at I see my competition is doing that often. And it looks like they're bringing on team members. In reality, when I'm looking on their LinkedIn, I'm like, okay, they're just rotating students every quarter. It looks like it's team members, but they're students. So I will look at that approach come fall. Thank you for
Well, and I'm thinking that's someone that would really look up to you and that you could mold and you could train. But I also understand you want someone with more experience like you, which then raises the question, is there another company that you could partner with to help grow and look at a partnership? So, you know, it is hard because some of us are solopreneurs and you're like, how do I do all this? You know, it's not easy. Armina, what about you? What is the number one unsolved customer problem in your cleaning world?
Like Phyllis said, budget. They're either they don't have the budget or they say they don't have the budget. They want the same quality for less. So that's one problem that I need to go to show them how important it is and valuable to have the environment or the properties clean. So that's a problem that I don't know how to, or I haven't found a way to get across to the property management community.
Yeah, if they're having a challenge with budget, then you can say, today for this budget, this is what I can do. And then I can come back again and then do this. I mean, I remember someone coming and saying, look, if you can only afford X, then we can't do the windows. And then that got them to suddenly get the business owner to upgrade and say, I can't afford not to have the windows clean. Okay, I guess I better up the budget.
You see, I try to do that. Maybe my mistake is to go an extra mile regardless of what. Just trying to build my reputation around. But they got used to it. So now when I'm trying to change, that's when, you know, because they want the service regardless. They will tell you that it's okay if you don't reach or you don't do certain things. They claim it's okay, but when something is not done and the tenants or customers are complaining for it, I get the hit. It's my fault.
It's like a catch-22. It's like you gave them a gift And now they're taking advantage of you.
Exactly.
Gosh.
So that's why I would like to go to the government contract. 'Cause that's where the money is, right? That's
Well,
where the
it's
money
cer-
is. Right?
It certainly sounds like you've earned your dues from having private customers and now go to the corporates, the government side, where they're being at least a little more fair and reasonable about
Exactly.
costs.
Exactly.
Laura,
Or find the right clients, maybe.
oh, you have to have the right clients or your company will go under. Laura, what about you? What is the number one unsolved customer problem?
You know, it's interesting. I've been kind of baffled with this because most of my career I have been a producer for hire on shows. So me branching out on my own and consulting, especially with the diversity and culture appropriateness, is something that kind of organically happened because people started reaching out to me. I did my thesis many, many years ago on Latinas in broadcast journalism because I was a news producer in Texas, where I'm from, before coming out to Los Angeles. So all of this has happened very quickly that I've decided to have a business and really look at the consultation side of it. So for instance, I just consulted on a project with an ad agency and Google was their client and they were doing a digital spot. So they actually found me on LinkedIn, which I'm like, does anybody ever really find people on LinkedIn? But I guess they do. And they needed someone to consult on cultural appropriateness for a Latinx spot. And so if I think, well, what are the problems for my clients? Something that because this is still kind of new to me, this side of it is that the client keeps changing the direction for the ad agency. So then they come back to me and, the script that we had approved to be appropriate now gets moved in a little bit of a different direction, which that's fine. The creative's changing, I'm totally comfortable with because of my production background. But in this side of it, I'm not interfacing. Like I work on a CBS show. That's my real bread and butter. So I'm getting immediate feedback from the network, but now that I'm branching out and doing consulting on the side, there's really, like, for lack of a better word, like a middleman, which is the ad agency. So I don't really know how to answer this question.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to toss it because I spent 29 years working for DDB Worldwide, so a huge advertising agency. Here's what I would say. This cultural sensitivity is a real issue. And when you're in TV commercials, whether you're doing commercials with Google or whoever you're doing commercials, they're always changing it up until the last second. They're changing the script, they're recording it and they're changing it. And they could lose something if they don't go back to you and make sure that culturally this is being communicated clearly and authentically. So to me, maybe one of the number one unsolved problems that it might be something you could help with is make sure that you carry the cultural ambassador all the way through and don't drop them at the script stage. Because I can tell you most of the TV commercials that I worked on, and that's how I'm able to go to the Emmys every year, what the script was and what the finish in the can, two different things.
Totally different, right? Yeah.
Totally different. And I think your message might be, I know that once I input the script, that is not when you're done. You are done when the commercial is delivered. So that means it still needs to be shot and edited. Lots of opportunity to blow it. Lots of opportunity to not do right by what you're trying to do. So I think you have a bit of an education, but you can make even more money by having them hire you for script during the edit and before the final is released, because your eyes need to see it and do a cultural check before it goes. So I think, Laura, there is a huge opportunity, and that could mean even more money for you. So give that a thought. Okay.
Oh, I will. Thank you.
Okay, Mina, are you thinking a little bit about what is an unsolved customer problem and what could you offer?
No, along the lines of some things that I've been hearing, when you have an etiquette consulting business and you try to have an opportunity to extend to others that are not even familiar with the topic, and they attend one of your courses and they said, oh, this is something that our clients could use, and how much more can you, again, it falls back to budget, the pricing, and them not being familiar with it entails the preparation. I go by the 3 Ps. You plan, you prepare, and you present. So every event I do that. And believe me, there is an organization that you have to follow for yourself. And one of the things that I find myself falling back beyond is, trying to accept new customers, new clients, or new media that's coming in. And this is where I really fall. I'm a tickler about this, is the security that's behind social media. So recently, I've had opportunity to speak to private clients on this. Some of them are corporations, and I speak on social media etiquette. I just posted, and I posted in social media to get it out there, the marketing. I'm doing it on my own, where I had an intern in the past, and he graduated college. So now he got a full-time in entertainment accounting that he likes to do. And he stays in touch with me. He is like, we mentor each other. He's my mentee, and he calls me his mentor. So I said to him, you know what, this is stay in touch and do this. He goes, I see what you're doing. You've done this, that, and the other. And I kind of learned from him. So I try to do that. I'm my own shop. You talk about solo entrepreneurship in English and Spanish. So go figure. You know the time it takes to put something together. It really is mind-boggling. I'm exhausted. I'll speak up right now. I have a dining event tomorrow where it's going to be amount 30 people. And, this is an opportunity that came because of my credibility with other companies that I've had in the past, or organizations and nonprofits. I'm, either I go to their gala and I support it or something, and they come back and they say, I remember what you said at the table. I've been doing it since. And what I see is really, they said, number 1, disgusting. 2, they're embarrassed. So I'm teaching something right? So when it comes to this, my marketing skills, that's where I need the extra help, and as well as finance. But I'm doing it all by myself. So when it comes to doing the QuickBooks, this, the that, and trying to have time for this, like today, I signed up because I said this could be very helpful.
Yeah.
And so when you have all of that,
it's hard to do this all. It really, really is.
Well, it is. And for those that are out there doing their same thing, and you're shaking your hands and you're going, or excuse me, you're making gestures. It all comes to one thing where the connection is very important, that those that you're going to be training understand what it takes to make that training happen. So I've had some intruders from outside, like Dubai, outside, because I do international protocol. And that's one of the things I am going to step back from a little bit too much, because I have people that are telling me that they're the manager for Princess so-and-so and so. So I have these emails to prove it.
Wow.
And I said, I showed it to my husband. I showed it to my daughters. They said, oh, Mom, that's fraud. I know it is. And I go, anybody could read it, but why am I getting it? Because they saw my website. And I have to be very careful with that. I can't, you know how many things I have unanswered? No, 1, I don't have the time. 2, if I know someone is going to be credible, I follow it. But all that other that's following is making me think I don't need social media. I'm doing very well without it.
I think you have to be very careful with social media. I think that is a very wise caution to all of us, to use it carefully, to make sure that you protect yourself, and the whole area of cyber hacking and cybersecurity. It is, I'm really glad you brought that up, because it is very, very important, and it is a very, very serious topic. I just wanted to, I realize we're coming toward the end here, so I want to give you guys just a couple of more things to think about. When you come up with a new area that you want to launch into, or a new area of revenue or service or opportunity, it's really important to do the numbers. And I certainly don't expect that you will do it tonight, but if you go to page 7 in the workbook, it's called financial proof. So you want to look at what is the total market size. You want to look at what is the likelihood of conversion, how much would it cost to produce the idea, what is the potential revenue. So if we go back to the tax and accounting firm, they wanted to reach out to women business owners that were certified, and there were 14,888 of them in the United States. They said, how many of these business owners could we hope to win over? And they did their homework, and they found out that 39% of women business owners outsourced their accounting. So they took the 14,888 and then they reduced it and created a convertible market. So then from there, they said, maybe we'd win 25% of it year one. And then they kept working the numbers and they said, okay, well, then how much does it cost to produce this app we're thinking of? And they put a budget together and it was going to cost about $250,000 to produce the app. So they said, if we think about 1,451 business owners will buy our product and we charge $59 a month, that means that's $708 a year times the 1,451. Believe it or not, that's almost $1 million idea. And it could be a door opener to new business. The real important question is it worth it to launch that new product or service? And I always say, if you're not a good numbers person, go to your CPA or go to somebody internally or a friend who's really good at numbers and help you walk through that. Last but not least, and then we'll open up for Q&A, is research. I would love to know how many of you have done some research before. So research, we look at research, marketplace beta, and soft launch for any new ideas. So in terms of research, you can do secondary research, the Google search. You can look at published reports. You can look at association and trade journals. That also might be a place where you could find some pricing information, believe it or not, because I know a lot of you have been trying to understand price, and we're on page 8 of the workbook. You can also do primary research like SurveyMonkey, interviews, and focus groups. And then if you are thinking about your new big idea, you can first introduce it to your employees, your friends and family. I don't know how many of you have a customer advisory panel, but that is also something very beneficial to do. And if you have long-term customers or loyal fans. And then if you're looking at taking it out to the marketplace, you can look at a small geographic location or a media isolated market or a favorable customer base. So these are all ideas in terms of research. I'd like to find out, is there anyone that has done market research? Anybody on the call? Anyone has ever done a survey or a survey? Ralph, have you ever done any research?
Oh, we've done hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of research. And we've got a lot of competitors out there, but we're not really competitors. We're considered a sole source product. So there isn't another product like ours, but there's a lot of people doing the work that we should be doing. And we know everything about their companies and everything they do and the do's and don'ts. So we're well informed on what's going on out there.
Good. Is there anyone else that has any questions about research or how to do research or why to do research? Cynthia, did you want to share something?
No. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. It sounded like she was trying to share something, so I feel bad. We also have Claudia that shared something in the chat, but I am just going to round this out for you guys, and then we'll go to Claudia next. So basically, if you follow this roadmap and grow your company by always innovating, by anticipating your customers' needs. Well, back in the days, I used to have to come up with a new idea every quarter. I certainly don't expect that from you, but if you could come up with a new idea at least once or twice a year, that will help move your business forward. And if you look at the roadmap that we went through, we stopped and we looked and did a vision headline, which you guys did a great job on. Then we took a look at your current destination and talked about areas where you can improve. And then we began looking at future customers, innovation, ideation, the big idea, and then adding some financial proof and test and prove. I thought it would be interesting to see, where do you feel you are right now with your company? Do you feel that you already have the vision? Where do you feel you are on that roadmap for your company? What do you think, Laura? Where do you feel you are right now?
I feel like for this segmented part of the consulting, like the strictly diversity and inclusion, brand new, like fresh out of the gate. I've been a TV producer for well over 20 years, but this, and I've consulted on TV projects, but this specific area, like brand new. So
At least you have your vision and you're working right now on your current destination and improving all of those areas. Is there anyone else that sees it differently? Armina, do you see it differently for you? Is it at all different for your cleaning company?
No, it's not. Similar, yes.
Similar. And what about you, Mina? Very similar too, in terms of where you're at?
What? I could say that.
Okay. What I would say at this point is we did not take any breaks so that we were going to allow you guys to go early, but I definitely want to stay. And I want to thank Southern California Edison, the LA Latino Chamber of Commerce, to talk to you about leading through changing times, how to have a vision, how to look at your business, how to think about your customers, how to come up with some ideas, and how to put some financial proof underneath it and come up with some test and prove. What I would very much love is to let Claudia, can you open your mic and share with us what you put in the chat? Or should we just read what Claudia put?
Am I unmuted now?
Oh, yes, go ahead, Claudia.
Sorry. So part of one of the problems and issues that we have is not just outreach, but also just getting people to even listen to us to begin with and be trusting that what we have to provide for them is not a scam and it's not trying to sell them anything. That's one. And then the other thing is with some customers that are renters, the homeowners may not necessarily be very inclined to sign the property owner waiver for several reasons. Sometimes in cases where they felt like maybe they'll be penalized for not providing something for their renters, when in fact that's not the case at all. And it's actually making the home better for them as well for no cost. So there's a lot of hesitancy there. So that's one of the things that we want to overcome.
So if I'm reading what you put here, Claudia, it says, I would like to earn the trust and write a proposal that will be accepted by our military for their housing. So my niece is going to Barstow to military housing. So can you describe, are you trying to help improve the housing or what is it that you want to do?
Well, I think making some of the, not all of them, some of the housing that I've seen is a little bit outdated.
Yes, very.
Outdated and not just on the look, but also energy efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
So
energy efficiency, that's a good point. Yes.
So that would be something I would like to participate in the future. I think it would be great for our company to be involved in something like that. Especially since my dad is a veteran.
Have you approached the military to do that? Have you reached out to them and say, here's something I could be of service for?
No, this was just something that I recently brought up to the owner, which is my father.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking of some things like that as well. We just didn't know how to even get involved or how to.
Well, I always say that one of the smartest places to go, are you familiar with the PTAC centers? So they are the government centers and they can connect you with different parts of the different military. And so again, let me see if I can find, where are you located?
In Fresno, California. That's the Central Valley.
Okay, so I'm going to quickly pull up a PTAC center and I'm going to say Fresno and let's see if they have. So let's see.
How are you spelling this, Mask?
Sure, I'm gonna pull it up right now. I'll share the screen. So this is, I do a lot of speaking. I handle the corporate side, but there's some really great people that I work with and handle the government. And it's called the Association of Procurement Technical Assistance Centers, PTAC. And they have different locations. So if we were to go into California, let's see if we can pull up Fresno here. And then let's take a look and see there's Sacramento, there's Kern. So tell me when I go by the county, what county you would be in.
We're in Fresno County.
So I saw Riverside, I saw San Diego.
Kern County.
Kern would be you?
No, we're in Fresno County, but
I know, and I'm looking to see if, so would you show up in the Golden State PTAC area by Bakersfield?
We're south of
Yeah, I
Fresno.
don't see a PTAC in Fresno. So you'd have to maybe call them or reach out to the closest one. And they may be able to talk to you about how to connect with the military. Is there anybody else in the chamber here that does work with the military?
So just real quickly, as you were scrolling through, I did see that Bakerfield does service Kern County. There was a couple of other counties within Bakersfield. So just
Right there?
yeah, so it services Kern, Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo, and Ventura. So the Bakerfield's office would be the one to reach out to.
So again, this is a great way to start. And then a lot of people don't understand what PTAC is, but they are a great connection for government. And the other great connection is SBA, Small Business Administration. So again, if we can give you some ideas, and here it talked about 24 billion in contracts. So a lot of you were talking about wanting to do government contracting, understand government pricing. I would definitely encourage you to reach out to, and it's just aptac -us.org. And that might be a great way to get you started in terms of improving your government contracting, learning more about pricing.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Absolutely. If we can be of service, glad to
Can I
help.
add something?
Absolutely. Please do.
That's how I was able to do with a lot of government contracts. The best PTAC in California is the one called NorCal. They have a big contract with the Caltrans, and they are actually doing a lot of online webinars and working with all the best one in California, NorCal.
Thank you so much, Phil. Let me just scroll to NorCal so everybody can see that. Is this the one right here? In it looks like on this one right here, NorCal PTAC.
Yeah, in Humboldt. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the best in California.
All right. Phil just gave you guys a hot tip. So those of you that stayed on this call just got a hot PTAC tip. Thank you. And it's so. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I wanted to make sure I asked the question to maybe someone on the line that, I like that he gave information, but I was wondering, is it okay for us to ask each other questions? Like there was this.
Absolutely.
So there's this guy on the line about security. I actually got hacked last week, and it was, basically a payment that went through to my credit card. But when calling my phone, the T-Mobile, they said, we don't have any extra security. So I was wondering if he could let us know maybe some kind of, what's the best kind of overall security system that would be best for like a small business like that is, because you hear of all this like SSL, like this, all these names, and it's so confusing. But as far as, I just had a question to him about that, maybe he can let us know, is there one service that would be like good that we could put in our email, or maybe some kind of information about security, cybersecurity?
Can I answer that question?
You got it, Phil. It's all yours.
One of the things you have to look at is your email, your provider. And I do not recommend that you use free email systems. And my research is that you want to use the same system that the government use, and they use Outlook for their email system. And so I think that's what we're finding out, is that with all the cybersecurity, they have chosen to use Microsoft 365 as their provider for their communication systems.
That is a great piece of advice. So, be very careful. And then also professionally, you want to be careful to make sure that your website is secure. I mean, I know that we, for CEO Success Community, we're on GoDaddy. And so you want to make sure that your website is secure, your email is secure. And, Cynthia, you're certainly not alone. And matter of fact, this is such a wonderful opportunity. If anyone has any questions about running their business or issues they're facing, just go ahead and raise them. I mean, this is a very warm group here. So feel free, if there's something that you want to ask it.
Well, can I add one more thing? Because I'm sure in all my years of running a business and technology, Don't be afraid to Google it.
Don't be afraid to Google it. Why do you say that, Phil?
Because information is out there and you don't want to reinvent the wheel. You want to do your homework, the research, the question. I mean, it's just like going to the library. So I think that was one of the things I want to share with a lot of small and minority business. You have to do your homework, and by having Google, you're able to actually do that and find out best practices, with the benchmarking. I think that's the key word that I would give entrepreneurs is do your research on best practices and follow the lead from the military.
Well, you know something, I think that is a great piece of advice because, you know, it is very scary as a business owner. I'll tell you another thing that's really important. I do coach a lot of small to mid-sized business owners. ACH, if you are ever, like, I just had a recent business owner get tricked. She had a supplier and these hackers, I don't know how they did it, Phil, but they got the name of her supplier, the address, the logo, and they sent an email saying, we've changed our ACH. Please, I know you owe us a payment. Please send us to this new number. The saying is, do not send money without making a phone call. Has everybody got that? No money without a phone call. She didn't. And she sent, I think it was $25,000 and her insurance isn't going to cover it. And there's no way for her to get it back. So please, please, please be very careful. If you are sending money back and forth, do not verify the number, the routing number before you send any money out from your company. Has anyone else experienced any other kinds of hacking or challenges that they could share?
And I just wanted to say to you, Marianne, is that there's so many things on the internet, so you feel like you can't trust the internet. So that's why I asked Phil, because you feel like this could be something that they're making up to catch you. So the internet is such a, first thought is to Google it, but the second thought is, hey, they might be using this to get you because they see a lamb that's already been, who's looking for protection. So, so that's what's kind of scary as a small business, because you don't want to bother people, but it's always good to have an expert,
Cynthia, I'm going to give you 3 pieces of advice, and this applies to everybody. Number 1, you can trust Olivia and Jules and the LA Latino Chamber of Commerce. So if you have questions, that is your association and that is your go-to resource. They are never going to steer you wrong. I've been working with both of them. They work tirelessly for you. So at least you know the LA Latino Chamber is not going to steer you wrong. That's number 1. Number 2, I will share with you is Sba.gov. So I talked a moment ago about PTAC. This is also very important. And this goes back to what Phil says. This is the government. This is U.S. Small Business Association. Sba.gov, not Sba.com, not Sba.anything, but Sba.gov. If you go here, they're going to have information and they're going to have programs to help you. So that's number 2. Now this, you don't know these people yet, but they're very important. And number 3 is the PTAC. So I think, Cynthia, don't ever feel alone. You have your association, you have Sba.gov, which supports all of us small business owners. And then there's also the PTAC Center. So I definitely, Googling is good, but it's also good to have that grounded with some business partners or business associates that look out for your better interest, because it is very hard to feel alone, and we don't want anyone to feel alone. So
can you also Google SCORE, bring it up on the screen?
That's, something. SCORE is a great idea. You bet. Phil and I are going to take this on the road together. Here we go, SCORE.com. If you would like a free business coach, you know what? Now SCORE.com is not coming up.
Is that .org? .org.
.org. Got to be careful there. Let me pull this up. This is also wonderful for your business, and I agree. So let's pull this up, and we will put all of this in the chat for you. So SCORE is wonderful. They will give you a free mentor. You can sign up. They have in-person sessions. They have virtual sessions. And this is, again, a great resource to grow your business. They have a business training library. It's all FREE, free. So let's see if we can put these in the chat for everybody. Let me make sure everyone has this. So I'm going to say this is SCORE.org. That's SCORE. Everyone get that. And then the next one that we talked about was let me type it in. SBA.gov. Okay. And then let me pull the, I think we talked about the feedback. So that was here, let me put that in the chat for everyone. APTACUS.org. Okay, now, what did I forget? Olivia, Phil, what else should I add? Oh, well, everyone knows the Latina Chamber, but let's put that in. Olivia, what is the for the Latino Chamber? Oh, unmute, go ahead.
info@lalcc.org. I'll put that in there as well.
Okay, Olivia's going to put that in there, and then I'm going to show you the website. So is your website info at, or what's the
No,
website?
it's lalcc.org.
lalcc.org. This is so no one ever feels alone. Okay, here you go.
Can we add the LA County Chamber, because they are, my recommendation is join your ethnic chamber and your city chamber for networking.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the LA area chamber. I don't have, let me see if I could find their email real quick. I mean, their website.
This is a wonderful group. I am so impressed with everyone helping each other out.
And the LA Chamber is helping me a lot on government contracting.
Okay. And we'll have Olivia tell us what the LA Chamber was.
Yeah, I'm going to plug it in right now.
Thank you so much. So everybody got that. SCORE.org, SBA.gov, APTAC.US. Beautiful. All right, everyone. And if you want to know how to save the chat, you go to the three little dots and you can save the chat. I want to be respectful. We did not take a break. And by not taking a break, that means that I will stay here till 8 o'clock, but anybody is welcome. I'm going to turn it back to Olivia and Jules. And again, I'm going to say thank you to the LA Latino Chamber. And I want to thank Southern California Edison. And I want to turn it back to the host. Go ahead, Olivia.
Well, thank you so much, Mary Ann. Everything was great. So applause if we could.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Applause to all of you.
You know, it's really, really hard for a lot of our members to attend evening sessions. We know that, you know, half of you have gone back to the office, some work hybrid. It's dinner time if you have kids and family. So I applaud you for spending the last almost 2 hours with us. We are very thankful to Southern California Edison for being a partner and for sponsoring these sessions. You know, STARS is a really great program. We also have some, you know, we have a great partnership with them this year. We are actually doing 10 training sessions, which is kind of unheard of with Southern California, but that's our commitment, not only to our members, the chamber, but to our community as whole. As you could see that all of our webinars are free and accessible to all business owners. So if you know of anyone who needs any kind of assistance, you know, have them contact us, info@lalcc. As we're sharing right now, we do have a couple of webinars that are coming up. And again, this is part 1. This is our first session of a part 3 series. So thank you for your time once again. And Mary Ann, you know, I hope everyone went away with golden nuggets, because it's really important to know and capture that vision line. You know, I wrote it down. I don't have a business, but you know, what would the chamber do?
I like that. What would the chamber do?
I think it'd be great, something to the effect of, you know, like Wall Street Journal, Los Angeles Latino Chamber just received the largest funding for a Latino chamber or ethnic chamber, helping out, you know, our small businesses with resources. And, you know, one of the things that we pride ourselves on is that everyone at the chamber is really dedicated. They love what they do. I know I love my job. And it reminds me of my parents having a small business. So, everyone that I connect with is really important. Reach out to us. We are a resource. We do love that open communication, and we're very transparent. Sometimes transparency is not the best, but we will not sidetrack you, even though it's not the answer you want to hear. So we're here to provide the resources at no cost. If you're not a member, reach out to us. One of the great things that we have going right now is our Elevate Together Cash Grant. If you applied last or earlier in the year, reapply again. It's, $5,000 for 6 businesses. So that's really important. And what, I'll end it on a quick note. So we have session 2 that's coming up next Wednesday, and that's how to prepare for utility and government contracts. Again, June 22nd at 6 p.m. And the last session is hidden rules to work with prime contractors on the 29th. Register on lalcc.org. If you don't receive our emails, which I hope you all do, and that's how you found us, or you found us on Eventbrite, we're here for you. You have our number, olivia@lalcc.org. And again, thanks everyone for being part of our community. We wish you much success in your business. Reach out to us. If you're not a member, call me. I will help you somehow, some way.
And how about a big round of applause to Olivia and Jules for all their hard work? They certainly deserve it.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Thank
Bravo.
you. Bravo. And so this session will be available later in the week. So if you want to visit us, we appreciate it. And thank you very much.
And I will stay on for any other Q&A. So if you guys have any other questions, I will stay on until 8 o'clock or whatever anyone needs. So please, if you have a question, don't be shy.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Laura, thank you again. Outstanding headline. It was a